I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Tiffany here. For some reason, everything is dark. Dark. There we go. That should work. Hello, friends. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting live. Yeah. I was like trying to get things situated. So last night for Sew Sunday, I started a Sawtooth Star I was going to do table runner, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll make 2 table runners with what I have. And then I was like, I got a suggestion, I'll just make a quilt. So I'm making a small quilt because I have 16 blocks I was able to make. So after the live stream last night, I ate and sat and watched a movie with Scott, and then came back in here for a little bit and sewed. I counted how much fabric I had left by just like whatever, if I was splitting it, and did some math, and then said, oh, well, I can make 10 more blocks. So I was able to make a total of 16. I made 6 during the live stream and 10 last night after. So all the blocks are done. And since I was able to do all the blocks, all I had left from my background fabric was this, which is not enough for sashing. So I decided to allot myself a half a yard more. So I cut myself a half a yard more of fabric from my wonderful stash of this fabric. And then I do have some of these pieces left and a couple little scraps, which will just go in my scrap pile. But I am going to sash all of my blocks, and I'm going to use cornerstones, as well as I'm not going to just keep the cornerstones and the sashing inside the block, on the inside. I'm actually going to extend it to the first border, and then also take the background and do a second small, I'm just doing 1.5-inch strips, a second border with just it by itself. And then I'm going to finish off with the help from you guys of a final border. And I pulled some fabric for that. That would be enough for the final border. And I don't want to really, depending on how much fabric of the one we choose, that will determine how much fabric I'm able to use around the outside border. So that's where I'm at. These, yes. While I'm waiting to say hi, these little extras, I'm going to actually cut down to 1.5-inch squares so that I can use them towards the sashing. That way, everything in this whole entire thing matches and looks good. All right. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Julie. Hi, Becky, Donna, Mary, Paula, Nancy, Joe, Gisela, Rose, and March from Florida. First time on a live stream. Awesome. So that's all I'm going to do today is just finish this little quilt off. I don't know how big it's going to be. It's probably going to be like 40 by 40. It's going to be a square because there's 16 blocks, 4 across by 4 down. So I don't know exactly, but that's about what it'll be. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some 1.5-inch strips and start adding a sashing to every single one of my blocks. The 1.5-inch strips I'm going to cut to 8.5, and I'm going to cut them 1.5 inches, 8.5-inch subcuts, and then I'm also going to cut these other scrap pieces into 1.5-inch squares for the sashing. So let's get to doing that. And I'm going to build the sashing onto the blocks, just so you know. So the only final sashing I'll have to do is the top and the left, because everything's going to be built going towards the right. So I need one of these, and I need this. And I'm going to say sorry in advance if this microphone starts rubbing. I wasn't sure if it would work well on my Jack Skellington, pajama shirt that goes with my pants. But it might rub, I'm not sure, because it's sitting funny on my shirt. So, all right, here we go. 1.5-inch strips. That's what I need to cut. I also kind of need to straighten this out because it's a little on the wonky side. This darn cutting mat, I'm telling you. All right, turn that around and straighten it up because And straighten 4, straight after. All right. It's not my blade this time, guys. I'm telling you. It's this darn. All right. There's one strip. I'll be able to get 4 8.5-inch strips out of each cut. Just so you know. Two. Three. And 4. And that can just go in my string pile. There's 4 from that. Now let's cut from the half a yard I gave myself an allowance for. I tell you guys all the time, in my tutorials, I only allow myself a certain amount when I'm working with scrap projects, if it's not like a pattern or something that needs a specific amount of fabric. Doing this allows me to not waste too much fabric at the same time as it gives that general idea of how much fabric you needed to make certain quilt projects if you guys watch all the videos that go with one type thing. So if I allow myself, now I have a yard and a half of background fabric plus however many squares I started with, which was like 28, I think. And then there was a bunch of scrap strips, which there was like 2 or 3 full strips and the rest were just small little scraps. I'm able to make whatever size quilt. So just that way, so you guys know. So for this project, you would have just needed a charm pack, you know, because a charm pack is 42 pieces, 40 or 42 pieces, depending on the company. So you would have needed a charm pack and a yard and a half, and then some border fabric, which at this time we don't know exactly how much, but we will shortly. All right, I'm gonna overcut this by just a tad so that this edge is actually, is this edge straight? No, it's not. We're going to overcut it by like 1/8 of an inch, so that way we can straighten it. Now I have a nice straight edge, and I cut off this excess. All right. Yep, that was a good idea to straighten that up. So there's 5 strips. Let's do 8 total. That way, I'm pretty sure 8 strips might be enough for sashing around 16 blocks. Because you got to go on all 4 sides. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. I lose my brain if it wasn't attached. Whew. 7 and 1 more. All right, there's 8 strips. The rest of this can go towards whatever. Let's chop these down into 8.5-inch cuts. So they're going to be 1.5 by 8.5. And I might stand cut these the rest of the way because that makes a little more pressure on my very not so good cutting mat. But I'll stack them nicely to start. Okay. Woo wee. Hope everybody's having a good start to their week. Being Monday. I know you guys don't really see me sometimes on a Monday, but not always. But I figured I could get this done as a good start to my week. Actually finishing something. I don't want it to sit in my unfinished project bin. You guys know how that goes. It happens a lot for me because I start something in live streams and I'm like, what was I doing? When did I finish that? Did I ever finish that? Should I finish that? Was it too hard? Was there too many pieces? Too many subcuts? Do I have to still trim everything down? I think all those things in my head. So, all right, I'm going to stand cut. Oop. My sweater's going to get stuck to everything. All right, here we go. We're going to do 8.5-inch subcuts.
It is a cool sweater.
Yes, it is. Like I said, it's like a shag rug, though. There. Yeah, see, it's better pressure from standing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. That's what I'm cutting, right? We're going to check real quick one more time. 8.5. Got to make sure before we make these cuts. I don't want to mess anything up. Out of the way. I'm at the fold of the fabric, so it kind of is like lifting up. 8.5 is going to land. That's the half first. That's going to land on this line right here. Okay. And I probably could get, ooh, look at that. I can get one more. But I'll have to have Mr. Scotty press these flat in case I need them. But I doubt it.
Time?
There you go. Make those flat. And to start, we're going to stack all these up and start attaching one to all the right sides of every single block. And then we'll cut out the little cornerstones and add to as well. Add to this as well. So let's get to sewing. Line that up. Sew them on. And let these stay nice the whole time. This way. I also have to pay attention because this fabric, again, it's hard to tell what is the right side and the wrong side. At least for me. Thumper has to say hi.
And a happy new year. Meow, meow.
Yeah, he hides when we vacuum around here, and Scott was vacuuming, and Thumper decided to go hide while Scott was vacuuming, but he kind of scattered himself in a stranger way than normal. He sleeps on a quilt, like a practice quilt that we made, and we just throw it behind the long arm, and that's where I test the tension and stuff. I haven't used it in a long time because it's covered in cat hair now, but it's his new bed. Is an unfinished, starter just testing project. Anyway, Scott's vacuuming and he hears a crash sound. Thumper decides to jump. Now, under my long arm, I have drawers that are filled with thread, and you guys know that's filled with fabric. So there's barely any room, like literally this much room between the drawer set with my with my thread in it and the table of the long arm. So it's like that much space. And under there, I keep a sheet so that I can cover batting on the bottom roller bar with a batting bar. And I also keep my ruler base. So Scott heard a big crash. He jumped through from the backside of the long arm through the top of the table and that dresser thing that has all the thread in it and knocked down my extension tape or my ruler base, and it landed on the black light. We had a black light with the bulb facing up under the long arm for, black light quilting stuff. And it landed on that hard acrylic ruler base landed on that. And he heard that big thump, and yeah, we looked, and it was a good thing Thumper didn't break that, because I don't know if you guys know, if you break a black light, you get the purple powder dust everywhere. Not very good to clean up. And yeah, it didn't shatter the black light. Crazy, right? And the ruler base is pretty heavy. So that was the excitement for the morning, to see, make sure that he didn't break something. It was a good thing he didn't, or my ruler base, because it's expensive to replace. The life of living with a cat. Oh, shoot, this one's a little short. We're going to fudge it. I'm not ripping it. So what happens when I cut things on the fold, because the fabric was folded in fours, so there's 4 fold spots. So I'm literally attaching all the sashing to every single block by chain piecing. I don't know how big this quilt will be when I'm done, but I'm assuming it's going to be like 40 something by 40 something, because obviously it'll be square. I took a shower this morning and tried to straighten my hair, since I don't really, not used to having curly hair now.
Curly.
I tried to straighten it, but as you can tell, it still wants to curl.
It looks good curly though. Even your mom liked it. I like it. It looks good.
Yeah.
Mess.
It's just the weirdest thing. 41 years go by of super duper 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 straight hair. Actually, 40 years go by of super straight hair. I chop it because of an illness, and bam, it grows back curly. It's the weirdest thing. Not used to it at all. I'm used to my straight, thin, flat, non-bouncy hair. Like, I couldn't even, in the beginning, when I, was younger, I couldn't even curl my hair with curling iron, because 5 minutes later, you curl this side. By the time you get to this side's all flat again. It's the craziest thing. Over there, thread. This way.
Mel says her bones hair grew in curly when she started injections.
She started injections for what?
Her bones hair grew in curly.
Oh, like for disease stuff. Well, there's like, I don't know, there's like 8 different issues to use injections other than diabetes. All right, so I'm going to snip these apart and then have Scott press these back, and then I'm going to, while he's doing that, I'm going to cut the little sashings and connect the cornerstones and connect those to the sashing pieces that are next to me. Press them back like to this color right here.
I know what I'm doing.
Thank you. All
Yeah,
right.
Psoriasis.
Psoriatic arthritis.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so I'm just going to cut these little things down into 1.5 inch squares. I'm wasting fabric here, but that's okay.
Like that?
Yes, sir.
See, I know what I'm doing. I don't know how last.
Trying to have a mixture of them. Wait, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15. I need 20 of them because I'm going on the. I need 25 of them. That's right. So I'm just going to cut all these. Screw it. Because I need 25 of them. Because I'm going inside and the first border will be outside. The sashing is being carried into the final side.
How many boxes did you say you had?
Huh?
How many boxes did you say you had?
16. All right, I'm gonna cut these. Let's line these guys up too, so I can have some of this fabric in there. And I could have also made my cornerstones the color of my final border. That's another option. But I think I'm just going to use these little guys up first. All right, they need to be 1.5 inches. Ooh, I need some of this guy. I don't have any of that in here. Other one. Over here. I didn't see this guy. Ooh, look at that. That's already 1.5. I'll have one of these because I didn't see any more of them. All right. 1.5. Yep, this is the shirt, and I'm wearing the pants. I took a shower and washed my clothes, and now I'm wearing it again because it's so comfortable. All right, there's some. There's more. Come on. There's more. Yeah, it's very cute. I like it. I like it a lot. More. Hoping, because I didn't count, I'm hoping that this is 25.
Walmart needs to make us an affiliate just because we make them more money than anything.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We're going to count them too, just to see if there is a total of 25 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Look at that. I cut 25 of them. Just like that. And I wasn't even counting. So now I'm going to attach these guys to the 8.5 inch by 1.5 inch strips. So I'm just going to go ahead and start chain piecing these fellers through so that these can be added to all the blocks.
ideas how to get coffee stains out of white carpet?
Coffee stains out of white carpet? No. Baking soda and vinegar, maybe. I don't really have much carpet in my house, and when it gets a stain, oh well, anymore these days. And it's like a cream.
Kids and animals and more kids.
Yeah, kids, animals, and more kids. So we never really bothered with any of the bigger stains. Just leave them. There's not many. There's a couple in this room because this was my daughter's room. Both of the girls, this was their room originally. So there's like makeup stuff on the floor over in, I think it's that side, over under my white chair. There's a big glob of, it's black, like they spilt an eyeshadow and then just stepped on it or piled clothes on it. Well, you know how teenage girls are. So, and then in what was the boys' room, which is still Cyrus's room, there's like a candy stain or something. Like they spilt candy, cleaned it up, but it stained the big red spot onto the floor. Even though they knew they weren't allowed to have candy in their rooms or any food of any kind, and they still managed to sneak it in there. This is cute. This quilt is going to be so cute. I'm glad I decided to just go with the idea of the whole entire quilt from everything than a 2 table runners or 1 table runners.
Your tablet, and does it have a memory card?
My tablet? It's just a first generation iPad. Like it's the start of when iPads started coming out. It's old. That's what we use. I don't even know if it has memory card slots.
I don't see a slot on it other than a charging
I think
hole.
that's just how they come. No memory cards. It's an i thing. And my other tablet's broke. So.
Yeah, the other one just died.
Yeah.
Last Sunday. Not yesterday, the week before.
It took its final caca. Now it does not work anymore. But hey, it lasted like 7 years. Which I guess is good for a tablet. Especially not like, it was an RCA. I didn't even, in the beginning when they got it for me, I didn't even know RCA was making tablets back then. But lots of companies make tablets. All right, these are going to be the ones that go on the blocks. And then I have to still make the ones for the outer side. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. All right, so those are on there. I need to snip them apart. If that's pressed to the white, then these need to be pressed towards the dark. Like, nope. Pressed towards my background, it looks like. And I know I have a cutter literally right next to me, but there's only 16 of these. I'm going to make sure before I attach them. Yep, it goes towards the background. So I'm going to start attaching these to the block. So here's it with the cornerstone. I'm now going to attach to right here and nest up the seam and put those together, and then Scott can press them all from there. And then I could start putting them together and then make the final sashing. I notice I've been saying a lot lately. I don't know why either. Because I can't think. Is our word for when we can't think. Or, let me think.
Jay says carpet stains. That's what strategically located throw rugs are for.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have the throw rugs though. We just it's strategically placed furniture for our carpet stains. Really, honestly, I love carpet in bedrooms, but this room being the quilt room, in the future, I think the carpet just needs to go bye-bye because this carpet is embedded with thread everywhere. It's like woven into the carpet now. How many of you actually have carpet in your quilt areas? I'm kind of curious if it's a common thing. I mean, it helps obviously with fatigue to have carpet versus tile or hardwood floor. But when it comes to cleaning it, carpet's worse to clean than tile and hardwood floor because those you could just sweep up the thread or vacuum it up with a little whatever, Swiffer sweeper, whatever you want to use. But carpet, you got to vacuum over it like 500 times just to get one piece of thread. And we have a heavy duty Kirby too, and it's older, but it's still like takes forever to vacuum in here.
Joe says she has carpet. She uses lint rollers.
Lint rollers on the carpet.
And she has no carpet anywhere in her house. Nadine. Kim has carpet.
Yeah, I find carpet harder to clean in a quilt room.
March says after stepping on a pin that was in the carpet, I had mine taken out.
I've only done that twice, thankfully, in here. Only twice. That's it. One was the little tiny pins, like I don't even know what they're called, but they're really, really small and they're pretty straight and they're only have it's like the metal was pressed on the top. There's no little ball or flat head or anything on the top of it. And yeah, that one went into my toe, at the top tip of my toe. And then the other one, I didn't actually step on the pin part, but I did step on the ball.
Well, here's one. Christy says, yes, I have carpet and I hate it, but I found that if you use a toilet scrub brush, it picks up those threads so easy it's unreal. Just a thought. A toilet scrub brush.
Huh, I guess I could get a toilet scrub brush for in here for not toilet, just to, because right here is the main area where there's so much thread, and then on that edge on the other side of the desk, just that corner right there, because that's where I throw my cuttings, little pieces and strings and stuff.
Carrie uses lint rollers too.
I like the toilet scrub brush idea.
Yeah, we might have to try that.
Yeah. We have to get a different one that we've not used on our toilets, obviously.
Obviously, yeah, we're not using the toilet one. They sell them at
the dollar store. Yep, we can go to the Dollar Tree and get one. It should go under the.
See how you down there hand it in like scrub it? I don't get it.
Why don't you just wipe it back and forth? It has a long handle. Just wipe it back and forth on the floor, and it should pick it up, I guess. Like it'll tangle onto the brush, making it up purposely. What? What'd you say?
I see it getting caught in the rug, but I don't
know. We'll have to try it. If anything, we'll have just gotten ourselves a new toilet brush. That's all. If it doesn't work for us. All right, just like 3 more to go, maybe, or 4 more, something like that.
She says, no, it does not get caught in the carpet. You just swipe. It works great. So now we're going to have to try it.
Yep. Ah, shoot. I just barely stitched, so I'm glad I caught it now. I have a backwards piece. Oh. All right, let's check that again. So this is the right side right here.
It says, love the star blocks. So pretty.
Thank you. I actually like them in these reproduction style colors, you know. They're really, really pretty in these colors. I'm loving it. Get under there. No, I'm going to be passing you more right now.
He's over there all fired up. He wants to know what's going on.
Yep, and two more. I'm going to be passing all of them to you. All right, one more. And then I need to put together 8 more pieces with the cornerstones for the outside edge once I put these together. But I am going to kind of lay it out to make sure that the colors are kind of spread around. All right. So Scott needs to press these, and while he's pressing them back towards this is what one block will look like. So it has the cornerstone on it, like that. And all the blocks have it. So the whole right side and the bottom will have a cornerstone on it to start. So I just need to use 8 more of these, which I will have from here because I had 8 strips. And there's 4 blocks. Just need to trim these down to 8.5. These were those cutoff.
Cecilia asked, what is the width of the sashing strips?
1.5 inch by, they're 1.5 inch by 8.5 inches. That's what they are. And all the measurements for making the blocks are on yesterday's So Sunday video. I'll put a link for it in the description after this video is over. I didn't think about that beforehand. I never think about those things beforehand. I'm really lazy about it. What, grab the link for the... Oh, no, I'll just put it in the description of the video for later.
Pretty antiquated, so I didn't know.
All right, here's the 8 more pieces. I'm just gonna straighten them up and cut them to 8.5. Oops, let's go this way.
Celia says they look beautiful.
All right. Cut that side. Move all those little tiny pieces away. I'm going to lay this on the 8.5 inch mark. And I'm going to trim this side, and then I'll have the last of all the pieces I need. We're going to have to cut this way because I didn't take down a ruler to use with my left hand. I mean a rotary cutter. All right, so now I'm going to attach cornerstones to all these. And then I'm going to put these all together. It's going to end and start with one. Actually, I can just do that, honestly, but I'm just going to put them on here. Yes.
Julia, that yes, that's the sweater that everybody.
Yes, it's the whole outfit, which is already super covered in thread already. Ah.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It was actually worse when I was digging through scraps for my mom yesterday. It got so bad because I was leaning against all my scrap bins and just pulling things out, and it was just getting everywhere. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to lay this quilt out because the colors are pretty goodly. They're pretty spread through nicely. All right, so I'm going to snip these apart, and then I'm going to start making 4. There's 4 of them, and then these 4. This are for the top. So what I'm going to do is attach these all together. It's going to start with 1 and it's going to end with 1, and then the bottom one does not start with 1 but ends with 1. I'm just going to right sides together. All this from getting this done. I'm going to grab this end and bring it right here, attach this next one to it, just like this. This one here, attach this to it. Maybe I needed 26 squares and not 25. This ends with 1 and the other one does not start with 1, it just ends with 1. Maybe.
Judy says how nice it is to see you have extra help with you. First time viewer and enjoyed so far.
Ah, thank you. Welcome. All right, so here's 1. Yes, my husband is usually in here helping. All right, we're going to attach these together, but these ones don't start with a cornerstone. They end with the cornerstone.
Margie says hello from Holland. She says, I love your sweater.
Oh, thank you. Hello, 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 and welcome from Holland.
That sweater's getting more compliments, I swear.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is, can you hear this in the microphone? This is like a, I don't know. It's maybe like a, yeah, like a, I don't know. Something's inside of here and it crinkles and I don't like it. That's the only thing I don't like, but it's cute. And if I don't move around too much or rub anything against my chest right here, then it's not that bad. But it is like a crinkly, weird sound. All right, so here's the next set of 4, except this one does not start with 1. It ends with the cornerstone. So yeah, I needed 25. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm not even going to bother laying these out. I am going to, right here, I'm going to hook this one, and I'm just going to grab one that does not have these 3 fabrics on the end. So, nope, those aren't those fabrics. We're going to attach this to the end here. And I got to flip this bottom piece right here because that way I can nest these seams. And it's only 4 across by 4 down, so it makes it super easy. All right, so I'm going to finger press this way. All right, we're going to add another one now. So I'm going to make sure it doesn't have these 3 fabrics. And it does not, so I'm going to put this one on here. This makes it easy for me, you know, to just whatever with it. All right. I'm going to nest this seam down here now that it's flat on my table. And one more, because that makes 4 across. Just like that. And this one, let's see, not the same 3 fabrics. This one's going to go here. Nest my bottom seam. Just like that. So here is row 1. Just like this. So at this point, I can take, since this is row 1, I can take the one that does not start with a cornerstone, which would be this one right here, and put it on the top like this. Nest my corners. Nest my, oops, come on, go the way you're supposed to go. My cornerstones are nicely nested. Everything fits just like it's supposed to. And then line up that seam down at the end. And then I'm just going to give it a little finger press so that I can show you. All right, so the top is done. Okay, so when I finish this quilt, the only sashing with cornerstones is this outside left piece will need to be done. So let's make the next, put that in the throat space, the next row. And I'm going to lay this right here so I can make sure that my 3 bottom fabrics don't match the 3 top fabrics that I choose. So none of these are the same as the above ones. So I'm going to attach this one to this one, and none of them are the same. I'm going to nest the seam down here. I'm also going to make sure that my other seams stay folded the way they were pressed. And nest my little end here. I'm just going to finger press for now to the one side, and then lay it here, grab another piece. I need to move this down some. Scoot that stuff out of the way. That way I can see the whole entire thing, making sure that none of the pieces are the same. So I'm going to grab this next one. None of it's the same on all these 3 blocks. I'm just going to hook these 2 together. Not yet. You can iron that back, yeah. It's ready, but put it back the way it was because I'm making sure nothing is the same.
I'm running in and out. You gotta let me know when you need.
Yep. He's cooking, so he's in and out of the room. All right. Finger press this way. And then we're going to see if the last 3 colors are the same. So they probably won't be, but we're going to look. These don't match, these don't match, and then we just need to see if those top ones match, but he still has the block. I put the rest on my lap.
I'm going to put it back the way it was. That's the way it was.
And those 3 don't match. So this can go on here now. And you can apply this to any size quilt. It doesn't have to be a small one. All right, so there's this one. We're going to attach those 2 together now. So that goes on top of this, obviously. Just going to line them up, and I'm going to nest the seams on the way down as I'm sewing it. Most people pin, I do not. Because I just don't want to, don't need to, you know, yada, yada, yada. Plus, this is a very small quilt anyway. It's baby size. All right, line this end up. Sew on down. And there's two. He's not in here, so I'm going to roll this back real quick. All right, so again, it's already being built in. I like when I build the sashing into the blocks. It makes it so much easier. All right, so we're going to align these next four. I'm just going to lay them here and see. Oh, that matches there. We're going to put that one there. None of those match. None of those match.
Lori says, love it, Tiff. The colors are so warm and relaxing.
None of those match. We're going to put.
They look nice.
And none of those match. So I'm going to put these two together, and then the four of them together. And I'm just going to put these right here for a second. So we're going to start with these two. Seam up right here. And then I'm going to put these two together and then hook the four of them together.
Mara wants to know if you have a long arm. You might as well tell people about it.
Yes, I have a long arm. It is a King Quilter 2 Elite Special Edition machine. You can find it at SewingMachinesPlus is the only place that sells it, which I am an affiliate for. In the description below this video, you'll find a link to SewingMachinesPlus, as well as any and all of my other affiliate links, so that you can find thread if you needed a long arm, and so on and so forth. The connecting threads, you need fabric to make those quilts, so you can find Fat Quarter Shop, as well as Martelli Notions if you need some notions for cutting and squaring all of your fabrics. And I think there's one more. Oh, and my local quilt shop, which very much appreciates all of you guys' purchases. All right. Oh, I just realized that those two were the same. I guess I really wasn't paying so much attention.
Joyce says your sewing is amazing and fast. I love that. Keep it up.
Yeah, I get things done pretty quick. I have to admit. I don't know. It's not that I purposely try to. It's like I'm compelled to.
Christine says, I've been looking for a live YouTube channel. Quilting channel.
Yep, that's me.
Now found.
Yep. I would say I'm a 60-40 split. 60% of my videos are live. The other 40% are uploads. Although my goal for one of my goals for 2022 is to have more uploads. because I have a computer and I can edit things better, and I'm learning more techniques with the editing, so it's just taking a while. Can't learn it overnight. All right, so now this section is done. Scotty, will you press this back? So you're just pressing this towards that way.
Also doing in this section?
Yeah, but first, before, don't go too much. I'm just gonna put these blocks at the, okay, that one looks good. None of those are the same. None of those are the same. Two more. None of those are the same. Oh, those are the same. None of those are the same. Those can go there. Oh, none of those are the same. And there we go. That is the order of the last row now. So we're going to hook those two together and these two together. All right. Line it up.
Melody said, "Do you ever make a quilt as you go quilt?"
Yes, in the beginning I made one and I didn't like the process. And I also never finished it. It's in the garage. In a pile of, I'll probably never finish it.
Christine just bought her first sewing machine. She wants to learn about quilting.
Oh, well, this is very fun, very therapeutic. I would say it's more therapeutic than it is fun, honestly. I don't know what it is, but I'm calm, content, and all of my problems just go away as soon as I start quilting or making quilts. You know what I'm saying. This is the piecing part. Then there's the quilting part afterwards. All right, these two go together now. Huh? Yep, that's fine. I'm just gonna grab it right now anyway. All right, then I'm gonna finger press this one. We're gonna attach this last one, and then the most part of the quilt top is almost complete. So I'm gonna lay this on here. Sew this together. This could actually be a wall hanging too. It doesn't have to be a baby quilt. To me, it kind of just looks more wall hanging type, like someone who has a country home or something, you know, decorated with browns and creams and stuff.
Now, ladies, nice would be to have your husband help and appreciate the process. I need to teach my husband.
Yeah, well, he does the ironing and he helps me with the long arm. He doesn't long arm, but he does help, you know, roll the, if I have to turn a quilt or I need a continuous roll, he'll stand at the end and hold the roller bars so that it doesn't lock. We don't have to keep going back and forth. He just unrolls as I go, you know, stuff like that. And then obviously the ironing and a couple other things he helps with, yes. But he doesn't sew. That's the only thing I can't get him to do is sit at the sewing machine. He's like,
the long arm more. You'd let me,
he'd use the long arm, he says, but he wouldn't sew sitting down.
You love to talk big game, but yeah.
He feels comfortable to follow a pantograph. All right, here we go. Almost done with this, and then we'll attach this last sashing that's left over sitting here in the throat space of the machine. All right, so I'm going to just finger press this back for now. And we're going to attach that last and final piece. And then he can press the whole thing as flat as he can get it. And then we're going to prep the first border and the second border. So I'm going to turn it this way. And I am going to take the piece that starts with the cornerstone right here. And I'm going to put it up here. And then it's going to end with a cornerstone as well. Not yet, no. So I'm just lining it up. Let's keep that whole thing up here somehow. We're just going to nest these cornerstones as I get to them. Again, everything was cut to size when we were doing the cutting, so that nothing should be too small. It should all line up, whether you use or don't use pins like me. And one more seam to align down here. Get it on the table, it makes it easier to flatten. All right, I'm just gonna finger press this back real quick, and then Scott can press it while we choose the next, or cut the next pieces, and then choose the final border. I'm gonna see how big it is too, so that way I know how many. I'm gonna do 2.5 inch, I think, for the border. So here's what it looks like with the sashing all the way around with the cornerstones. Obviously it needs to be pressed the rest of the way. So I'm gonna pass it to Scott to press, but before I do that, I'm gonna see how 36. That's 36, 37, 38. It's 38 inches. So I need 5 2.5 inch strips. Can I get 5 2.5 inch strips from this? If not, I will just do 1.5 again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and no. So I'm just gonna do 1.5 inch strips again. I could do 2 inch strips too.
He says, hi, I was just watching the first video.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go with 2 inch because I have enough to cut 6 2-inch strips from here. My very first quilting video? Unless she's watching the first one of this video, which is yesterday's video. My very first quilting video is in the long arm. It was in the long arm, in the garage. It wasn't, it was when I did the rulers. No, it was the ruler video. So I need 1.
Oh, they're saying it's beautiful. I love it. Love the look of it.
2. 3.
Am I ironing more?
In a minute.
Yeah, I'm ready. Me and Squeak is fired up.
4.
And Tip, you're amazing.
This is the 5th because I only need 5 strips, but I'm going to cut this last piece so it can go in my leftovers. There we go. This will just go in my bin of random length or random width strips. All right, so I'm going to hook all these together after I cut the selvage off. And then I'm going to start sewing them on. Yeah, I'm on right there. I'm just going to cut all the selvages off.
Sharon says it looks stunning. Another person from Sweden here. Wow, you're getting popped off.
Look at that. Welcome, everybody that's joining in. We're getting close to choosing the final border. I didn't have, obviously I made this from scraps from a box that was just recently sent to me of scraps. So I don't have matching fabrics for any of this stuff. So I have to choose from my own fabrics for it. All right, I'm gonna hook all these together. So I'm just gonna pull the bottom way. The next two should be right side together, so on and so forth. I don't want these to end with seams. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the start and put it on the bottom and then go all the way around, attaching this, because I don't really want like it to end on a seam, if that makes any sense, because that's what's gonna happen. Do a right side together. All right, so there's that. And I'm gonna come to one of these ends and I'm gonna cut off like, keep my bobbins right here. I'm gonna cut off, right. No, we're gonna cut right here. And it shouldn't end with a seam. We're gonna grab this last end right here and attach it to it. That's right sides. That's right sides. I know this kind of seems weird, but I don't want a seam to land at the ends when I'm sewing the borders on. So now all I need to do is attach all this to the quilt and then we'll choose the final border. So here's my quilt. I'm just going to start on one side. They're all exactly the same size. Just going to grab one of the ends that I made. If I could find one. Huh? I am finishing yesterday's project. So from Sew Sunday. This is from Sew Sunday's video. So I'm going to align this up and I'm going to look, and look, it doesn't end on a seam. Yay. I didn't want it to end on a seam. To me, that's frustrating. Like right before or like an inch before. Oh, I hate when that happens. So I just cut a little bit off and added it to the other end. All right, so I'm going to stitch these on. And this is the same color as my sashing and the stars. Move all that out of the way. I don't want those to fall on the floor. All right, so coming up to the end, once I have the end flat on the table, I just pick this end up right here and fold it on top of itself, which is stuck to my shirt. Can you see? And I'm gonna make a little crease and then I'm gonna cut it. And now it should be the same exact size. That way I didn't have to cut my border to size. I mean, a lot of people do cut their borders to size. Sometimes I do if it really, really means that something, like if it's a good quilt and it needs to be perfect for a quilt show or something, but I typically do them this way, and I've never had a problem with bowing or anything. All right, I'm gonna lay this on here, making sure again that I'm not landing on a seam. And this one is. That's because I have to turn this around, that's why. And then it shouldn't land on a seam. There we go, that's where I want it. I'm gonna put this side on, and then we're gonna add the top and bottom or sides or whatever you want to consider it, because it's a square, so there is no top and bottom and sides.
Did you say last night that those were Civil War reproduction fabrics?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. They look like it. So this is a 2-inch border that I'm adding, because I want my cornerstones that finish on the outside edge to float. That way they're not touching the next fabric, if that makes any sense. Sometimes I don't like cornerstones to touch the next fabric. All right, so I'm making my little crease right here where I'm going to cut. I just slide it in here, cut it, sew it on, back stitch, and now these can get pressed back. That. And then this, and we'll add the other two borders and then pass it to Scott, but we're going to choose a border, or the next border together, because I pulled out some fabric for that. Stuff that I think matches well or looks good with, you know, because I don't have any of whatever this fabric is coordinating fabrics. Yeah, in a minute, not this very second. All right, we're gonna lay this next one on here. We're gonna see where this last piece ends.
Mary says, thank you
Not on a
for your
seam.
nice card you enclosed.
Oh, thank
I
you.
didn't even open the package when I got it because I knew it was a present for my daughter.
Come on, stay down. Coming up to the end, I'm going to fold it up and cut it off. Just a little bit more right there. Come to the end, fold the fabric on top of itself. And yeah, in about 2 minutes. All right, I'm just going to finger press this while I'm literally right here. All right, let's go to that other side and add the final border piece. These little projects don't stay on the desk very well. The bigger ones do because you have like a lot more you can bulk up onto the desk. These little ones, oh. All right, we're going to make sure that a seam does not land at the end. It shouldn't. Nope. Okay. I probably cut one more strip than I needed. I probably did only need um 4 or 5. Yeah, 5. I don't know. It looks like I have a whole extra one. So I probably did only need 4. I didn't know how wide this fabric was. And as always, I just guess. So all right.
Cecilia wants to know, how do you get the discipline to finish the quilts?
Because I just do. I don't know. It's not a discipline thing. It's an OCD thing. They need to get done. All right. Yeah, I could have gone with just 4 strips. All right, I'm gonna finger press this and then Scott can press it. I do have a ton of unfinished quilts though. Like long arm quilting. Okay, so I long arm quilt for others, if you didn't know that, for those that are new to my channel. And people send me quilts in all the time. Those are first priority over my quilts, although I, for videos, should have done the quilt and got it completely finished because it was part of a video and it should be finished. But when a long arm client quilt comes in, that takes precedence over my stuff. So I've got probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, probably like 5 more hangers after that. So there's like 25 or 26 quilts over there. Plus there's some scattered around the room that aren't even from tutorials. And then there's a bunch of started projects because yes, please. I started stuff and never went back to it. So, you know, I'm not sure yet. Why? Oh, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure yet. All right, as soon as he's done pressing this, we're gonna pick the final border. You're gonna have to hold it down on it longer to get those to lay flat. Yeah, this whole thing needs to be flat now.
Oh, am I ironing the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I thought I did.
No, I thought I was just ironing the top. I'm running back and forth. Remember, I have food up there.
Well, then I'll iron. You can go finish your food. Here, I'll iron. Go finish your food. All right, I'm gonna iron this whole thing and then we'll choose the border. And I can't see comments, only Scott can, but he's out in the kitchen with his cooking. Oh. I have a couple threads that are sticking through the seams, and I like to pick those off. The rest of them I'll get later, but I had to pick up some of them off of here because they annoy me. You guys have that where it annoys you if the thread is sticking through the seams because of the shredding causes the shredding to pop through as you're sewing. It gets stuck when you're sewing it.
Okay, I'm back.
No, I'm almost done.
Thank you for sharing the one grid. Really loved it.
Awesome. I know that video wasn't the best of quality because I don't get the best of internet service when I'm out and about. It's better on Wi-Fi than it is on 5G, but should have been good enough for 3 minutes of video. All right. Here's the so far. Now we just need to choose a final border. So I'm gonna lay this on the table and we're gonna lay some fabric on it so that you guys can help me choose the final border. Stick all this over here. Move this. Close all these blades because that would be the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, is this where they're gonna help?
Yes. I'm kind of just behind the camera for a second, guys. Yep, we're going to set it up so that you guys can see. Camera's moving, camera's moving, camera's moving, camera's moving some more. I'm going to put you right here. It is border choosing time. So here it is, right here. Mostly fits on the table. I'm going to leave it on this side so you guys can see the most of it. We're going to lay the fabrics that I chose on here. So we're going to have fabric 1. We'll put it about here. Let's go this way with it. Fabric 1. How well is that seen? No, that's not seen very well. Fabric 2. Fabric 3. 4. And here, we're going to put those over there. There we go. Can you see them all?
I gotta admit, I kind of like the first brown, the last brown, and green.
I like the green. I think the green will pull out more of the greens.
I think the green, yeah. I was amazed. At first, I didn't think the green went good.
The camera's going to move for a second. I'm going to give you guys like a better angle. So there's one brown there. There's the second one. That one has some dark brown in the flowers, but it mostly reminds me of reproductions. Then we have that brown right there. Then we have the green, which I think will pull out all the greens in here, which to me seems like the best option. And then a small print flower on a lighter brown, but there is some light brown in here.
Pretty much it's unanimous on the green.
It's unanimous on the green.
Some are saying the first and the second brown, but the majority are all saying green.
Yeah, I like the green too. Let's pull all these browns away for a second, and we're going to take this green. And I don't have much of it. It's not going to be like a huge border, but we're going to lay this right there. And we're going to put this up against it, actually. I'll refold it again in a second. We'll just open this whole thing up. Like this, that, and lay this up against it like this. I like it. I like the screen. It's very pretty. And everybody's in that unanimous decision on it. Almost.
A few people said the one in brown.
We're going to come up here again. I like that one.
Yeah, the number 2 brown was the next one, but it's only like 3 people said it. Everyone else said green.
All right. We're going to go with the green, guys, because the green to me looks the best too. But we're going to look at that number 2 brown, which was this one real quick. This one I have the most of, actually. And I could do 2 borders. I don't have to just do 1. I'm going to put this right here so you guys can see. Yeah, there's not much green in it, so that's why I was feeling like the green would be the best. Put the green against it one more time. Just like this. Yeah, I like the green the best. And the most of you guys do too.
Majority, yeah.
Yep. All right. We're going with green. Camera's not going to be moving anymore. We're going to turn this back up to me, and we're going to cut this up. All right. There it goes. Camera's done moving now. I'm going to put all these browns away. That's plenty of room over there. And actually, since this is pretty much the length of this almost, I think I'll have more fabric if I cut it in this. Yeah. So I'll cut 4, and I can get how many strips? At what size? 1, 2. Let's see how much I have. We're going to move the quilt out of the way. I know that one full strip is one amount. We're going to look on here. Let's lay this right here because this is more straighter. We're going to look how big we can do it. I would need.
If you don't have enough green for the second border, you could skip the second border and use the green for binding.
I could too. We're going to see right now. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips at 3 inches. If I added a half, so that's 1, 2. Yeah, I can get 5 strips at 3.5. We're going to cut them 3.5 inches. So I'm going to lay this down. Everything's nice and straight. And we're going to cut 3.5-inch strips. I'm going to straighten this edge out and then cut. Right there. Yep, we're going to get 3.5-inch strips from this. And then I'll just use one of the browns as the binding. I'm going to turn this around very carefully like and cut 3.5-inch strips. 1, 2, 3 and a half. One, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th strip here. Look at that, plenty of fabric. So 2 of these are just going to be directly connected, and then the other one I'm just going to cut. So we're going to do it almost accurate. The almost accurate way. I'll lay this down as flat as I can up here. Like this. Right there. That's flat. Flat, 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 flat. We're going to lay this on here. Oh, that'll be like an inch and a half off. Straighten it out and cut off right here. Right there. So I'm going to attach this side, and I'm going to do the same with the other side after I attach this side. Now it's cut to size. I'm not pinning or anything again because I never do. You guys should be used to that by now. Back stitch. Grab my end. Since it's cut to size, it should lay super flat. Notice I didn't use any math for that. I just put it on. I have no idea at this very point. I'm just gonna just eat your food. Just quickly ironing it back so I could turn it around and add the other side. All right. So here's that one is done. We're gonna lay this back out again and do the same thing. I'm gonna cut it again. This is why I have all the random fabrics in my room, because when I get scraps and I make things, I can match really good stuff up to it, which is a good thing. I'm gonna lay it on here. I'm gonna smooth it out. Slide it over, and I'm gonna cut off what's not needed. Nice and straight with the edge. Oops. There we go. Now I'm gonna sew this side on, and then we'll connect those other ones for the length, because now I have to add 3.5 inches. These fit exactly, but now there's, 3.5 inches on each side, or 3.25 technically, because I only took away a quarter seam. Sewing these on. No, it is 3.5. Shoot, it would be 3. 3, yeah, and 6. So it'll be 6 extra inches, or 6.5 extra inches. All right, hold my end.
What is the name of your cutting?
My rotary cutter, is that what you're talking about? Someone asked what the name of my cutting thing is. Are you talking about my rotary cutter? It is a Martelli cutter. You can. Oh, I don't know if they ship there, honestly. You would have to look at a different company. Do you guys have like an Amazon there in Sweden, or like eBay, or a version of Amazon and eBay? That would be the best bet of finding it. It's just called a Martelli cutter, or Martelli rotary cutter. They're right-handed and left-handed. So there's a right hand, which is red, left-handed, which is blue. And it goes the same for both the big 60 millimeter and 45. They're both red for right, blue for left. All right, now I'm going to, yeah, I have a Martelli affiliate, but again, I don't know if they ship out of the country. Yeah, I'm an affiliate with Martelli, but again, I don't know if they ship out of the country. Those are questions I didn't ask, so I don't know. Some companies do though, but. All right, so I cut that one strip in half. I'm just gonna add it to the end right here. And then the other half of it's gonna go to the end of this one. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow it out to size again. But I'm gonna do it from the ironing board so that I can open the whole entire thing up. So I'm gonna open this up on the ironing board nice and flat. And I'm gonna do that same procedure of laying it out and cutting it, but I wanna lay it on a longer surface that fits it. It's a little bit easier to do this. And I totally just burnt myself on the iron accidentally. No, I didn't iron. I touched the iron on my pinky finger.
Are we done with the iron then? Should I turn it off?
No, not done. Got 2 more borders to go. All right, so I'm going to cut these to size. You guys can't see me because I'm over here, but line that up right there. Flatten it out. I can't. You have to. This is not ironing, Scotty. This is cutting it to size. All right, cutting it to size, but I need this instead. I folded it on top of itself. So that's what I had left. I'm going to do the same for the other one. I'm actually going to cut it now. I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple pins in to hold this side on. About right here. And about right there. Just to hold that side on, because I'm going to flip the whole thing.
Cindy asked, any suggestions for a pattern, a 2-color quilt for a guy?
Black and white.
Yeah,
Well,
pattern.
a pattern.
Any suggestions for a pattern for a 2-color quilt for a guy?
I don't know. Honestly, me drawing a blank. I can't think of patterns on the fly. Hunter Star would be nice. I have a Hunter Star tutorial tutorial. That would be cool for a guy. It's cool for a guy, a gal, grandma, grandpa, a mommy, a daddy, a kid. All right, there we go. This could be done in 2 colors. I said that last night. You can do something like this in 2 colors also. I have lots and lots of patterns on my page. There are a few of them that will work with just 2 colors only. All right, I'm gonna sew these on. All right, so I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna put the 2 ends together and just hold it nice. Now I'm gonna turn it around
Looking good. I'm gonna do this
and do the opposite side, which I have pins kind of holding it in place, which I am definitely removing because they're just whatever, annoying. Where did that go? It's tangled up in here. Look at that. All right, line the end up. All right, here we go.
Why do you cut the bottom arms? Do they ever come up short?
No, because I cut it to size. I flattened everything out and cut it to the size I need. Even with any kind of puckering or the fact that your feed dogs take in fabric faster or anything, I never have an issue. See, it landed right there at the end, perfectly square. I never really had a problem with that. I know there are people that have issues doing that, but I haven't. Oh, but I did run out of bobbin. That's my issue. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
Scam.
I know, but we have to press decline or it's going to vibrate the whole video.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that. All right.
Yep. It's a good thing I had one last bobbin rolled. And again, I'm sorry if my microphone is rubbing. I can feel it moving around. All right. Go to where I ended. Rehold my end again, but I don't really have to because it is lined up. Okay, let's press this back and then I'll be done. The only thing left to do with this quilt is to long arm it. It's actually bigger than I thought it would be. It turned out pretty good size. Definitely make a nice wall hanging, that's for sure. Just the colors. They look so good. Flip it around. And then I'll tip the camera and hold it up for you guys to see. I am stitching right now at a 2.0. So a pretty tight stitch length, but not too tight where it's hard to pick it out if you mess up. But we don't want the quilt to fall apart either. And technically it's a little bit different than your guys's if you guys don't have a Juki, because it's not always what you think it is. It's just the comparison to a 2.0 of another machine, or a, you know what I mean? Or a 1.8 or something. Because this is not electronic. All right, I'm going to back you guys up just a little bit here. We're going to hold this up this high right there. And I'm going to bring the quilt over so you guys can see. This is a single person holding quilt. It's rare that I make them this big, guys. Nope. It's right here. Fits in my hands. What do y'all think? The green border makes it look fabulous.
I'm gonna tell like 3 people asked if it was for sale. I think they like it.
I like it. I really like it. I do need to de-thread it and press the whole thing like a final press.
I love it. Very cute. Unreal how you did this in 2 days. Very good. Love it.
Oh, this is actually kind of small. This is only a couple hours total. Whatever I did on live stream last night, slow talking. If I was to have done this not on camera, it would have went a lot faster. Because I wouldn't have been, you know, sitting here talking.
Absolutely love it. Gorgeous.
The whole time.
Good. Great.
I love it. The green really, really, really showed it off better, I think. And it's not the same as the dark green, but it's not the same as the light green. So it's that blender green that's in all the fabrics, the medium green, you know? Definitely pulled it out more. And it's a small flowery print, which is what most of the prints in here are, is little tiny flowers. So it definitely goes with the Civil War reproduction stuff. All right. So there's that. I do need to long arm it sooner or later. I don't know when, but or with what as a backing, but I'll figure that out. Obviously, camera's moving. All right, there. We'll leave it so you guys can still see the whole thing. All right, another project down. Yes. I just need to quilt it and bind it. I don't even know what I'm gonna quilt it with. I actually think leaves would look really good all over it. Quilting it with leaves.
Debbie says now bind it with the number 2 brown.
Yeah, I'll bind it with the brown. I didn't put them away. They're just over there. So I have a water there that I smashed the bottom in for the recycle bin. All right. That is that. So I finished it. This was the blocks. If you want to know how to make the blocks, it was started on Sew Sunday, which was yesterday, the 26th of 2021. Just reminding anybody that way if this video is watched in the future. I will put a link to the video that I started the blocks in the description below this video. That way it can be easily found. And everything I did, you guys heard the numbers for. So, oh, that final number. What is its final number? Let's see. Let's see. It turned out. And yes, I'm using a regular tape measure. 47 by 47. So that's pretty good size. Definitely wall hanging size, you know, 47 by 47. So that's perfect. Perfect. And you know what? Even if you're like just laying on a couch, it's that size too. Like if you want to just sit on the couch and you're the kind of person like me that puts your legs up to the side like this is enough to cover with and still stay warm. So I think some leaves as the quilting and that's it. That would be kind of cool with some tendrils thrown in too. That would make it look really cool. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go have lunch and probably take a nap because I have finally completed something. The top is done. Now I just need to quilt it later. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on a Monday morning. I really appreciate you guys and all the help with choosing the border. Although I was in my mind, I saw this green as it already, but you guys just verified that for me. So thank you guys for that. And yeah, I'm glad I did what I did. I'm glad I took the cornerstones and sashing away, not just in the center of the quilt, and then added the white, the light colored again, so that way the cornerstones stay floating in there. So I'm glad I did that too. I think it finishes it off beautifully. Walmart. They had them at Walmart. It was like a little set, a pajama set, folded up nicely with a bow around it. Pretty sure it was a Christmas type thing, so they probably will have a ton of them left that didn't sell for Christmas.
They only had one. You got the last one.
I got the last one in my store, so. All right, I'm gonna let you guys all go and get about your day and enjoy, and I'll see you when I see you. Don't forget Wednesday is a 25 patch block video, and I got to edit some more, so I'm not gonna tell you whenever that video comes on because I got more editing to do. So that's about it. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, like this video, and share it with your quilty friends. I'll see you next video, guys. Bye.